my home. I'm leaving for a destination I still don't know. Somewhere nobody must have duties at all. And if you like this, you can follow me. So let's go. Follow me. And let's go to the place where we belong and leave our troubles at home. Come with me. We can go to a paradise of love and joy, a destination unknown, no, 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 destination unknown. The crowd, the air is clear, ocean's blue, I love that sound. We're happy for this destination we found. And if you want this, you can follow me. Let's go. Follow me. And let's go to the place where we belong and leave our troubles at home. Come with me. We can go to a paradise of love and joy, a destination unknown, no, 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 no.
Just feels tight. Just feels tight. just feels tight.
All night, we ain't here to hurt nobody.
So give it to me, give it to me, give it to me.
Wanna see you work your body.
So give it to me, give it to me, give it to me.
Boys in the party, everybody put up their hands. I get a half a mil for my feet, you get a couple bricks. Never gon' see the day that I ain't got the upper hand. I'm respected from California, I ain't way down to Japan. I'm a real producer and you just a piano man. Your songs don't top the charts, I heard them, I'm not a fan. Niggas talking greasy, I'm the one that gave them their chance. Somebody need to tell them that they can't do it like I can.
right, traders. All right, we know what that sound means. It's time. It's time. Scrooge's Gold Vault is going to be open, changing it from the juice bar to the Gold Vault, doing things a little different. I also didn't promote this on Twitter and Discord. I didn't spam it everywhere. I wanted to see how many people were going to show up organically. I wanted to see how many people really love this information, really want this information, really are benefiting from this information. And, I just wanted to kind of do a little test on that. I was curious how that would go. So, welcome if you are here. I'm happy to see you. Happy to see you guys showed up on your own. I didn't have to take any coaxing. I didn't have to trick you with a hashtag with the GMEs and the AMCs and the AP. All right, I'll stop. All right, guys. So anyway, this is Scrooge's Gold Vault. We're gonna try to find some gold for you every. We run down specifically what I call blue collar type of plays, blue collar edition, meaning that, we're going to look for stuff that maybe people who can't play at the beginning of the day are going to be able to benefit from, are going to be able to utilize, give them some strategies, give them some approaches. So there's four main sections to Scrooge's Gold Vault. We got shorts, we got swings, we got straddles, and we got spreads. We're going to go through everything one at a time, but shorts is how we're going to kick off our day. So guys, I hope it was a good day trading for you. I hope everybody made a little bit of money today. So today on the short squeeze leaderboard, there was a few new things that had popped up. Give me just a second here. We'll load it up for you. So the short squeezes, guys, this is a paid service. This is Fintel. I highlighted this in the short squeeze masterclass. If you've not seen the short squeeze masterclass, please go watch the short squeeze masterclass. A lot of this is going to be repeated from that. And I just didn't want to have to repeat myself every single day. But, we got a little time here. I wanted to show you guys this Fintel option where you can go down. They actually give every single thing a short squeeze score based on the metrics that you see here: the short float, the borrow fee rate, the shares available. So, the borrow fee rate and the shares available together are a pretty powerful combination. You guys can either pause or just kind of take a look here as I scroll down and maybe give yourself some info, some good ideas off of this. So, if you guys don't know anything about short squeezes, the short squeeze masterclass is going to show you that you don't have to catch it before it happens. You don't have to catch it while it's happening. You don't even have to catch it after it happens. Sometimes you can still be catching it a week later, as we just seen with FFIE that just took another dump over the last 2 days. So, that's kind of the gift that keeps on giving. Once we find one of these that are squeezed out and are squeezed and they're optionable and the options have good volume, those are the three pillars we need. We can play that over and over and over again. We can keep that on our watch list. So, watching something like FFIE, which was a 100x move, guys. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's a 100 times move. Okay. It went all the way from 4 cents right here on the 13th to the 17th. So in a 4-day move, it went up 100 times. So, a lot of people were trying to catch it on the way up. I just put it on the way down. I caught this, I won. I caught this, I won, and I caught a few more of these. So, there's lots of opportunities on the way down to make money. And then when you see it pop back up, I grabbed another put. I won again. So that's how I personally like to play them. But there's 5 different ways to play them in the video, the masterclass that I published. And this is just kind of the basic setup we're looking at. So let's talk about plays from yesterday. DJT, the one that I've been talking about for a couple weeks now. This thing is up on a rip roar, but I mean, not really showing us that traditional, layering up that we're looking for. Maybe this is gonna be it. Maybe it's, maybe the shorts are going to kick back in at this point. I believe that if this continues at this rate, that this thing's going to just take off. I had a dream, or I had a vision the other day of $70. So, I'm hoping we see a nice pop to 70 soon. That way, I can, tell you guys how right I was and, promote how smart I am, obviously. No. I mean, I want to make some money. I want everybody to make some money. So I actually do have a little DJT. It's up 15% since I alerted it. Hope, it's down here somewhere. Hopefully it just keeps going, and, we'll see how it goes. If it starts taking a little bit of a downtick, I might get out, because owning shares on the uptick of a short squeeze is not how I like to play them. I just think this one's got a lot of potential, and I think it'd be really neat if it tripled or times 10 or better. That would be amazing. So, I mean, if I all of a sudden woke up and DJT was in the mid, 150s, 140s, I would just be super ecstatic about that, right? But then I'd also be looking for some puts on the way down, although these are some really expensive contracts, so be careful on that. So, FFIE, are we done, guys? Are we done? I mean, honestly, I grabbed a put yesterday. I woke up, I took my money right at the bell, so I made some money again on FFIE. It went ahead and bounced up today, almost all the way to the moving average, and looks like it's just short city on down. It's not how I like to play it. I'd rather see like a really big uptick, like if you caught it on this uptick, I'd be cool with that. But for right now, just keep a look at it. You get lots of opportunities on the way down. So let's talk about another one that I'd seen squeezing today and that I alerted in the Discord, but I might have made a little mistake here, guys. I didn't see the earnings back here. And the earnings make me a little worried. However, when you do go to the short squeeze, is it? No, it's not. When you do, we had two screeners that we were using from the masterclass. If you guys haven't seen the masterclass, go watch the masterclass. It'll show you how to find these things. Um, the other one was here, and then we're going to do short squeezes. And what you'll see here is that Woof, the one that I alerted, is actually on this list. Okay, so it's not a huge float short. There's no guarantee it's going to rip, ride, and go nuts. And then on top of that, I just it's already done a pretty good move. I'm not going to give anyone else advice to get in this play. I got one for 15 cents, $15, made sense to me. I got another buy right now for 5 cents to average me down to 10 cents, but that'll be the most that I'm going to play on it. When it comes to options, guys, you have a very big loss expectancy. So we're only playing with things that we can afford to play with. So, $10, $25 for me makes sense. Once you get up to like the 50-cent level, I wouldn't start adding contracts to change my price point, because then you're just doubling your risk, tripling your risk to do that. So, just with these little contracts, why not? When you talk about something going from 15 cents to 5 cents, okay, well, now you're at a 70% loss. Why not? Why not grab, one more? So, something like that makes sense to me, right? So, anyway, with Wolf, it might have been a bad call. I didn't see the earnings. A buddy of mine actually pointed it out. He's actually right here watching. Jared, what's up? Shout out to you. I really appreciate you, buddy. If I ever figure out how to make any of you guys like special like colors inside the chat here in Tradecaster, I'll definitely do that for you. I don't know if I even have permission to do that yet. I really don't even know what's going on here. I know I've been here for a little while now. I still don't really know what's going on. I got to be honest with you. So, right now, it looks like it's going to take a turn for the worse, but it's looked that way before again. I just thought overall it was a beaten down stock. It was something that had been going downwards for a long time. It's clearly being squeezed right here. So maybe the earnings carried it through the squeeze and maybe kept it going. But anyway, my options contract is 3 weeks out. I go for 3 or 4 weeks out when I do these puts. So it gives me a little time. Definitely have some time to come back. I'm also in on that GME put, which I don't feel super great about, but I can see it coming back to 1750 within the next 3 weeks. And I'm at like $13. So I mean, that could do a little something for me, especially if it happens in a quick movement, which we've seen on the back end of these short squeezes. They get nice drops. That FFIE dropped 40% overnight. So stuff like that is really, really helpful. So SMMT was the other one, guys. It's off to the races. We have news behind this one though. So this one's was an example of one that I had seen early in the day on this chart of what's breaking out or what's the highest gainers of the day. And I had seen this one early in the day or maybe even pre-market. And I started watching this one, right? And I started looking at it. But, it really comes down to, The news changes everything. If you got an earnings report, like I was just saying, I messed up on that. If you got the news, if you got some sort of catalyst that's creating that movement, we're not going to put that back down. That's why I said it was a bad play. That's not something we would normally want to do. What we're looking for is a pump. What we're looking for is a squeeze, something artificial that we know, or that we have extremely high odds of it coming crashing down, not just coming down, but coming crashing back down. And that's where the short sellers or the put buyers will short. Let's see here, yeah, the short sellers and the put buyers will absolutely kill it. You know what I mean? So when it comes to shorts squeezes, these were the only two that I had seen today, and this one's got the earnings report behind it, so I wouldn't suggest to play it, and this one's got news behind it, so I wouldn't suggest to play it. So throughout the day, you're gonna just keep coming over here, guys. You're gonna come over to markets, you're gonna come over to stocks, and when you on just TradingView, right? Just TradingView. It's a free website. So when you come down to stocks and you go over here to top gainers, this is going to kind of get you in this area. This will be throughout the day. You have your after hour gainers, which you can watch maybe like an hour or two after the bell, just to see what is absolutely taken off at the bell. That's really fun to watch. Sometimes those guys are your short squeeze candidates that are squeezing at that moment, something that we can capitalize on, something that we can go ahead and play or get ready to play for the next day. As a matter of fact, if you guys were here for my Barnes and Noble and BuzzFeed call outs, it came from these screeners right here. I just had seen that they were pumped. I had seen the okay, so BuzzFeed had news, but it was just that Vivek Ramaswamy had bought a bunch of it and he was in it. That doesn't necessarily mean that the stock's any better. So I went ahead and I alerted everybody, hey, let's get that thing back down. So anyway, guys, that's probably going to be it for the short squeezes. We can go ahead and just look at one more of like how we would do this if you want, real quick. So top gainers, we just go into here and you just look for stuff that's going to be optionable, right? So if the last price was under $5, or no, let's say under like $2, it's probably not going to be optionable. But all of these are actually really good candidates. And then you just go in one by one, take a look at the chart, SMFL. Make sure there's no news. So you want to take a look at the chart, make sure it looks like it's squeezing. Yes, that's one. Is there earnings? Yes. So we avoid it. We just stay away from it. Is there earnings? Is there some sort of catalyst for this movement? News. Also, go check the news. One good thing I like to use for news is they got Newsfilter.io and Yahoo Finance. Yahoo, probably the top two that I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna, if I'm news, and if I look at the chart and I don't see this E right here, I'm gonna think to myself, okay, this thing is squeezing right now. Oh my gosh, it's going, 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 and just get ready to put it on down. And check the options, make sure the options have good volume, all that good stuff that we've been talking about and hammering on in the masterclass and hammering on with you guys day to day here live every day. All right, so that's going to go ahead and conclude the short squeeze portion. Coming up next, we're going to talk about swings. So we had no swing trades that we took overnight. Okay, we didn't like the look of anything, but we can go back and just kind of look at what we looked at yesterday, right? So what we looked at yesterday was FLNC had some insider transactions that would tell us that it might be ready for a dumperooski. But I told you guys, let's not grab it overnight. Let's wait and see if it shows us some weakness. As of right now, nothing. So what I do is I like to give these like a day or two. Let's say the second day. By the second day, if they're not showing us anything, just go ahead and get rid of it. That means that whatever insider movement was alerted to us wasn't enough to change the mob mentality, and it's still moving the way it's moving, right? So we'll keep an eye on this one for one more day. Okay, now the other one, CART, same thing, guys. We're expecting an upturn. Now, does it look like it might have bottomed out? Sure, we've got some nice sideways movement, but I still would like to see a nice confirmation that we're going to go ahead and start making that move to the north side, and then on the 30-minute candle, just look for like maybe a move back here to the 32. So if you had an options contract just on the other side of this, a call just on the other side of this, it should do pretty well if we get a nice little spike. But once again, we didn't see it. It hasn't happened. So let's give it one more day. If we don't see anything by tomorrow, then whatever that insider movement wasn't enough to change the mentality of the mob, and they're not going anywhere. They're going to keep hammering it down. So we're going to keep these two on alert. Now, let's talk about, in case any of you guys are new to the channel, how we get these lists. Well, we do it by monitoring insider transactions. Insider transactions can be a catalyst for a potential turnaround in price movement, and it's something we can capitalize on as options buyers. I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to get a water. All right. Sweet, sweet nectar. All right. Here we go. So, how do we do this? Now, first of all, let me give you a little introduction. So, about 3 months ago, Sean Deckmar put in a video into his stuff that he does, Twitter and everything, and I watched the video. I plugged in the stuff that he told me to plug into FinViz, and it was like magic. Okay, I was getting overnight swing trades, win after win after win. I was close to like 70% success. It was just crazy to me, especially with options and not really doing any technical analysis about the company, just waiting for some sort of a good entry and then jumping in. So it was really easy. It was something that just kind of happened right away, and the success rate jumped up right away. So as a blue collar guy, maybe you guys can't be here at the beginning of the day. Maybe you can't watch this stuff all day. Being able to wake up to a win is the best case scenario for you guys, right? So I'm going to go over real quick what we're looking for, and then I'm also going to tell you what I believe the secret to success is inside of here. Okay, so okay, cool. Make sure I see a little chat action going. Make sure everybody. I got top chat over here. Let's do live chat. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm missing anything that anybody's trying to talk to me about. Okay, so let's go. Ready? So, what are we looking for here? We're looking for change from open up. We're looking for performance up, and we're looking for RSI overbought. These all indicate that this thing is on top of the roof and it's just going, going, going. Okay. Then we have the relative volume over one, the performance, the price over $20, and optionable because we want to do options. So those three things, guys, the volume, the price, and the optionable will not change. Okay. Everything else is just going to flip when we go to the call side. But anyway, here we go. So the one thing that is different here is insider transactions. They're reducing their shares. So even though the stock's up, 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 for some reason, the insiders who could be 10% shareholders, they could be directors, they could be CEOs, they could be vice president, they are deciding to sell. So that's all this is some sort of indication. Now, when I told you I was going to tell you what I thought the secret to success was, it's the RSI, guys. So, like the insider transactions, sometimes maybe that's not even the catalyst for why we win in these trades. Maybe it's the RSI itself being so overbought. And, guys, if you want to pick that up a little bit and even make it a little tighter and bring it up to 80 and find stuff that's really overbought, you're going to increase your success a little, I believe, So, definitely something you could play around with these filters, but let's just go ahead and run this down. So the only thing that we're not looking for, or two things that we're not looking for slow steady movement, because if it does turn around, it's not poised to turn around very much or very fast. We want something that rose fast, so that way it's going to come down fast. As options buyers, that's the way we're going to make the most money, with a big dramatic movement. So that's what we're looking for. So the second thing that we're not looking for is right here in front of your guys' eyes, which is this? Okay, cool. Which is the earnings E. So the earnings E, what does that tell you? That means that we just had an earnings report. Now, the reason that we don't think that that is any indication, this plus the insider transaction is any indication that things are going wrong or that things might turn around soon, or that the insider has some sort of knowledge that the price is going to come tumbling down soon, is because this price is now, after earnings, at a price that it has not been in a very long time. Look at this. For like, looks like about a year. Okay, it hasn't been here, maybe ever. Sometimes it's hitting a high that it's never been at. So as an insider who is being paid shares as part of your compensation package for being employed with that company, why wouldn't you take a big chunk of those and go ahead and sell them when all of a sudden you see the price skyrocket to a price that you haven't seen it at maybe ever, or at least in a very long time? So that just, to me, could be profit taking and not necessarily an indication that something's going to come crashing down, right? So what we do after earnings is we just give it some time. After a few days, it's going to start consolidating in a certain area. And then after that, it's going to start breaking out and making some moves. And at that point, we can think about jumping back in. But for right now, just avoid those plays, okay, guys? So here we got a big old, and by the way, when you see a huge candle or a huge gap up, it's usually an earnings play, but not always. So we got to check them. So here we got another huge gap up, another earnings. Wow, that one looks just like this one. That's funny. Okay, so both of those are earnings, guys. We can't touch them. And INSM, okay, so somebody was talking to me about these guys today. So we don't have an earnings play. This would normally be something that we want to jump on. However, somebody was just talking to me about this, and this does have some pretty big news. So that would be another thing you guys can check secondary. It's not something I've really done in the past. What I usually do right now is I would just put INSM on my watch list and then watch for the price to start looking like it's going to come down, and then go ahead and get it on the way down. It's not an earnings play. It looks like it's just an organic gap up, but I know that they had big news, and there's no guarantee this thing's. Excuse me, a little cat hair. There's no guarantee this thing is going to come down anytime soon. So there's really no stress on INSM. I wouldn't, worry about that. I think that's just, let that run, let that do what it wants to do. Okay, guys. So we don't have any really contenders for a put overnight, but let's go ahead and check the call side. So the call side is going to be the complete opposite, guys. We want down, performance down, RSI oversold down. But the things that don't change are the volume up. We always want volume when it comes to options. Performance, no, sorry, the price $20 because we're not playing small caps with this. And then optionable, obviously, we want to get an option. So then we have the insider transactions, which are adding positions. So in a situation where this thing is beaten down, RSI beaten down, all of a sudden insiders are adding positions. That might be a good indicator that something's going to flip around pretty soon. So with these guys, we don't really have to worry about earnings or anything. Well, I guess it would still be smart to avoid an earnings play. But here you look, I mean, I love this right here because it shows you, look, it's been in this channel all the way since last year, guys. Last year, it's been in this nice channel, right? And we had, got close to it, bounced, got close to it, got hit it, bounced. So, what's the likelihood of this thing wanting to snap back into that zone? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it is still falling. So, we're not going to, try to catch it. I mean, I'm not going to try to catch a falling knife, I believe is the analogy that a lot of people use. So what I would do in this situation is I would go ahead and just add this to the list of, like, okay, this could be a call swing that we could be looking at in the next couple of days. So PBF, we would just come over here, we would add it, PBF, and boom, we are in, right? And then you just kind of keep an eye on it. If it shows you all of a sudden some kind of crazy amount of strength, it looks like it wants to snap back, I say, 48.18 at the moment would be a good target wherever the 30-day moving average is. And, just say, hey, look, if it's going to come snap back up, it's going to come snap back up to that. So if you got an option contract right on the other side of that, I'm all about that too. Now, remember also what we said yesterday, guys, not every one of these plays needs to be immediately added to your list. You can go to your broker, check it, see if they have options, check the option volume, make sure that there's a really tight spread so that way you're going to get a good fill in, good fill out. And, that will save you, because you could be watching these plays for weeks or months. Well, not sorry, days, hours, days, or weeks, and then come to find out when it finally goes to pop, and they don't even have options. You were literally watching this thing for no reason. So, is this something we want to grab right now? Absolutely not. But is this something that maybe in the next day or two is going to turn around based on this insider transaction? Maybe. So the insider transactions work because it changes the mentality of the mob. All of a sudden, because those reports are public, right? People can see that kind of stuff. So all of a sudden, people see that and they want to jump on board. All right, guys. So that's going to end it for the swing trades. I'm going to go ahead and close this out real quick. We're going to go ahead and talk about the straddles. Now, we're not taking a straddle play today because there is no economic report tomorrow that might change SPY drastically overnight, right? Okay, we have a little something here, but I've never played it before, so I'm not testing that. Okay, and if you guys don't know how we do the straddles, go check the video from yesterday. I went over it in really good detail. But as long as there's not really anything on the economic calendar, and as long as the top 5 companies of SPY are not having earnings reports, which they're all done now, we're going to go ahead and just not play straddles. But let's go ahead and talk about the straddle that we had yesterday, right? So we had a straddle that we wanted to go that we talked about going into yesterday. Or okay. So what happened was I was going to go into it right when the bell ended, but because that spread that we were in was so nuts, I couldn't even think about the straddle. So what I did is I did what I told you guys to do. I went over to the Robinhood and I just clicked add to watch list, add to watch list on both of the options contracts. And here's what we got today. So right when the bell opened, the 529 call could have been closed for 72 cents. Throughout the day, it got back to the 72 cents, but that would have been the best optimal close for that. Sorry. The put side that we grabbed, that was the call, right? Yeah. So the put side we grabbed, we would have had to wait till about 11 o'clock, but you could have closed that for about $1.69. Now, this would have just gotten our money back, okay? Even at the end of all this, with the optimal closes, you would have only basically broken even. I think we made a couple dollars. Nothing, basically nothing. If you were the person that closed it first thing in the morning, because we're talking about blue collar people who can't be here at the bell, so you would have just opened your phone at work real quick and closed it as soon as you could have, you would have been down a little bit. This is what you would have woken up to today. Okay, so you would have been down just a little bit. We got into this play for about 215. Here, let's go ahead. I went ahead and logged it already. So, straddles. There we go. So we got into this play for, I believe, okay, so we got into this play for $238. If you closed it this morning, you lost 36 bucks and you were down 15%. So the thing that I told you how this works is you'll lose about 10 or 15% if it goes sideways and it doesn't make any dramatic movement. Well, if you guys notice, SPY actually did make that dramatic movement, but it gave it all back pre-market. So had we not had this uptick and it just kept this downward momentum, we could have opened with a pretty nice win on the put side, I believe. So the only way this really works is if we get a lot of movement. If it breaks sideways, we're going to get about -10, -15%, which is something that I can digest. When you talk about the winning side being, double, triple, like we got 70% 2 spreads ago, which was a $300 spread that went to $500. But because we didn't call that live on Tradecaster, it's not here on the chart. Okay, we're only going to do the things that I'm calling live here on Tradecaster. Actually, sorry, it was here. Yeah. I put it right here. So this is the 70% winner. So, and I called it live on YouTube, not on Tradecaster. But anyway, getting away from the point. We're going to keep all the logs fresh. We're going to keep on going fresh from here. There's no straddles today. If you're still in those positions from yesterday, you shouldn't be, because I told everybody not to play them until you were comfortable with straddles. You're supposed to go to Robinhood. You're supposed to add to your watch list, and you're supposed to do what I did. You can go and look at the charts throughout the next day and see, okay, what point could I have sold? How much could I have made? And start really breaking down which economic days seem to give you the most the most gold, right? We want to make sure that certain days. So the jobless claims didn't seem to really help that much. It only moved a little bit. So watch it next time. What does the jobless claims do next time? And after like 3, 4, 5 times of each economic day, you'll get an idea of which ones really push the market. And getting that straddle on both sides, yeah, you'll only win or lose a little bit of money if it barely moves. But if it actually does get a parabolic move one way or the other, you can wake up smiling ear to ear, right? So that's why I invented this strategy, and it's tested very well. And yeah, that's why I give it to you guys. Hopefully, you can utilize it as well. So that's it for the straddles. We're done. That's the shorts, the swings, the straddles, all done. We're moving on. I'm doing a lot of hand motion today. I don't know what's going on. I'm directing you guys through the trading traffic that we're going through here today. All right, so let's see here. We'll get rid of all of these. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and move on to the final section of the day. This is our credit spread. If you've never sold options before, you're not playing right now. You're going to watch my credit spread masterclass, and then you're going to paper trade, and you're going to test alongside of me to make sure that you know everything that could possibly go wrong, because this is one of the most high risk approaches that you could possibly take on the entire stock market. And you can easily blow your account, or at least 100% of your risk amount, if you do not pay attention, if you are not playing it the right way. Okay, so the way we do this, guys, we always play SPX. Oh, and by the way, we did start the $5,000 challenge yesterday. We got our first win. It was 200. We got 100 on one side, 100 on the other side. It was $200. They charged us about $20 each in fees, so we came out about $160 up. All of that's been logged. And yeah, we're just going to grow this $5,000 account within 40 trading days or 90 actual days. We're planning on doubling it right here in front of you guys live. So it's something that real fun that we can do. But if you don't know how to sell options and you've never sold options before, you are strongly advised not to play. And I will put up a note on the screen here in just a little bit to remind everybody of that, because I know sometimes people don't listen or they jump in at the last second. So, how do we do this? I shouldn't have to tell you guys anymore because you've watched the masterclass, right? My YouTube channel, if you haven't, right as soon as we get done here today, or as soon as you guys have a little bit of time, the credit spread masterclass. I know we were promoting the short squeeze masterclass, but the credit spread masterclass is going to be your bread and butter on this one, guys. It's going to go ahead and tell you pretty much everything you need to know to play with us. I've already set up these lines based on other levels that I've seen throughout the day. And as you guys can see, we're actually at the very bottom of this. So we don't jump in right at 3:30. The reason I stated is because there's some little bit of volume that comes in at 3:30 for some reason. So right around 3:30 to 3:37, we're looking for our first entry. We just kind of want to see which way this thing wants to go. As of right now, it looks like it's just going to tread at this line, little up, little down, and just kind of hang out here for a while. But yeah, we'll have to just kind of see how that goes. What I'd like to see it do is come back into the opening range, which is your first. Wait, so where were the candles to start today? Down here, Thursday at 9. Okay, that was this morning, right? Thursday at 9:30. Okay, so yeah, so here's our opening range in between teal and green here. So I'd really like to see it make its way back to that opening range. I feel like that's what it wants to do. That's what it's kind of been doing all day. At the very least, maybe about right here, I could see wanting to get back to. So we're just going to let it hang out for a minute, kind of show what it wants to do. And then I'll go ahead and walk you guys through the entry of how we're going to enter the trade. And I shouldn't have to say much. Like I said, through this part of the show, I'm going to kick on a little music. We're going to relax. We're going to hang out. I'm going to keep the music level a little bit down today. Some people yesterday said they had a hard time hearing me when I was trying to update them throughout the rest of the day. But so what we're going to do is, yeah, we're just going to kick on a little music. We're going to hang out, let this thing kind of show us over the next few minutes what it wants to do, and then I'll just kind of update you guys. But if you haven't ever sold options before, you are not playing right now. You will lose a lot of money if you make even one tiny, tiny little mistake. So hopefully I've completely scared you guys out of that. And yeah, let's just go ahead and hang out a little bit here and have some fun. Chats are open, guys. If you guys want to talk about anything, if you're confused about anything, whatever.
I left my job, my boss, my car, and my home. I'm leaving for a destination I still don't know. Somewhere nobody must have duties
Chats
at
are up.
home. And if you like this, you can follow me. So
Let's go.
follow me, and let's go.
Looks like it's just gonna want to keep on dumping, guys. I expect a lot of chop here, though, but if it keeps bleeding, it keeps bleeding. Now, do we try to enter while it's bleeding? No. So if we've decided that it's going one direction and it's in the middle of big candles in that direction, we're not going to try to enter at that moment. We're going to want some sort of a reverse back to us, back to the zones that we want to get in on. So, I mean, at this point, I feel really good about the downward movement that it's been in all day. I feel like it wants to continue that. Now, I do have one thing that I want to bring up as a concern to you guys, and it might be a reason that we might not be taking a trade today. Let me tell you why. So, the way credit selling works. Here, let me go ahead and turn this down for a minute because this isn't as smooth sailing as I thought now that I'm really looking at this. So the way that option selling works, okay, is that we want sideways movement and we want low volume. Okay, these are things that help us as sellers not get caught up in a situation where we might get stuck and we still would have won, right? You know, by the end of the day, it didn't hit our target. We would have won, but because of some big swing in our direction, we got stopped out, and we couldn't stay in the trade, hoping that it was going to turn around without risking losing a lot more money. Okay, so and we don't do that. We just get out of the trade. So here's my concern with you guys, and this is, I'm sure you can follow me here. Okay, look at this action here. Look at this volume here. Okay. Very small candles, not a lot of movement, obviously choppy, but more than just choppy, the candles are small. Now, what happens here at 320? Just a big old dumperooski, then a big old correction candle. Now we're having another big old dumpy. So I don't know where the volume's coming from. Maybe I was wrong about that economic date not being a big deal, and maybe we shouldn't take a straddle. Maybe we'll test a straddle instead of taking a spread today. If we don't take a spread today, how about this? If we don't take a spread today, we'll test another straddle based on projected movement from whatever the heck is going on right now. So yeah, the only economic event that we can see is the 8:30 here. So other than that, I don't know what would be causing this last minute volume. You know, maybe one of you guys would know if there's an economic report for a major company that has ties to one of these big companies like Nvidia or Microsoft. Sometimes that's a catalyst for a big old, movement. But anyway, the point being is that we as sellers don't want big swings. These candles here would tell me I'm not taking a spread today. So I'm going to look you guys right in your eyes and tell you, I'm not taking a spread today. We've started off 2 wins, 0 losses. We're up some money, and we don't want to give it back. Now, do I feel like we're in pretty good, territory if we get something way up here, and we come in on the call side way up here, that this thing's not going to swing way back up and then crack this and then come crashing through? Well, absolutely. Absolutely that's possible. But when you see this much volume, guys, and like correction candles and stuff, who's to say what it's going to do? Now, first of all, we can't get an entry right now anyway. When it's dumping like this, all the call contracts are beaten down by that movement. So that makes us have to go from where we want to be outside of all these lines, or maybe right here, to all of a sudden we got to come in closer. And we got to come in closer, and we got to come in closer. And next thing you know, you're right next to this price when you get in. Well, what's going to happen if it stops moving so fast? You could start losing. It don't even have to turn around and come back to your direction. You could start losing just based on the lack of movement. All of a sudden, it's going down, 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 and then it's not. So that option's going to change its value based on speculative movement, right? So this movement, this speculative movement that it's having right now is making the call contract think that, hey, it ain't coming back. It's worthless. But then if it stops moving that way, the call contract gets a little braver and thinks, hey, man, I got some more value. And then if it starts coming back even just a little bit, that might pump that call contract up enough to where us as sellers are now in danger of having to get stopped out. Because as sellers, a higher value means we're losing. We want it to expire worthless. We want it to go to nothing. So right now, could we even get an entry if we wanted to? No, because of this movement. We would need a big green candle to come up this way to give that call option some value before we think about jumping in. And that way, if it chops or goes back down, we're on the right side of that, right? So right now, I would love, okay, so normally in a situation like this, if it wasn't in a downtrend, you would want to go ahead and grab the put side. You'd be like, oh, I'm going to grab the put side. So this would be a situation where it's been on an uptrend all day, but for the last couple candles, it's coming down pretty dramatically. That's your entry. That's what we're looking for. So imagine this candle right here is actually a big green candle, and it was starting from down here. So it went up, 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 and then it curled down like this. That would be your entry for that put side. Because one, we're not going against momentum, but two, we can't grab it if it's falling off a cliff the other way. So we need some sort of pull or some sort of momentum our way to inflate the contract for our entry. And then as soon as it turns around or runs out of steam, it'll deflate again and we win as options sellers. Makes sense? Okay. So here I'm going to go ahead and say let's not do the spread at all. Let's go ahead and talk about the straddle again. So how do we do the straddle? So yesterday, the one we got into was about $200 because we were 3.5 strikes away. Okay, so we go for 3 strikes away, but if it's at 50 cents, I'm cool with 3.5. But guys, you can bump that up. You know, if you have a bigger sized account, you absolutely can go 2 strikes away, 1 strike away, already in the money, whatever you want, right? So the idea is, if you guys haven't seen the straddle approach, is that you're going to get something on the high side, you're going to get something on the low side. These are going to complement each other. We're going to be 3 days out. So the only real thing you're going to lose if the price goes sideways overnight into the next morning is roughly 10 or 15% for the time decay for what the gamma or the delta. Okay, so once that beats down the contract a little bit, you're going to lose a little bit of money. So if you're one of those blue collar guys like we were talking about and you can't manage the trade the next day, you might have to just go ahead and panic close first thing in the morning at work real quick and take a little bit of a loss. But hopefully you guys can manage the trade throughout the day and get an outcome like what we got today, where even though it was down 15% and we lost $30, if you managed it right throughout the day, we ended up breaking exactly even, or I think we got $3, whatever, 1% gain. Awesome. So on sideways days where it really just doesn't move much, that's where we lose. But as straddlers on both sides, as long as we get a big movement in one direction or the other, the loss on this side is going to be compensated by the win on this side. Then once you get over 100% win on one side or the other, now you're in the money. Now you got profit. And that's how our $300 contract the other day, 2 straddles ago, became worth $500 because it was managed properly throughout the day. That same contract, if just panic closed the next morning, I think only made like $50, so as opposed to almost 200. So it's really about how you guys can manage them. But hopefully you guys can get a little money even if you're those blue collar guys we were talking about. So how do we do this? We go over to SPY. Now, can you do the earning reports of any company? Absolutely. If you guys want to spend a little time practicing this, just go to your Robinhood and add stuff to watch list and then see how you did the next day. Any earnings report, you can go to the top and bottom, but all you're really going to want to make sure is that there's a lot of volume on those contracts, so that way if that price does go up 10%, 15%, 20%, that whenever your losing side is still going to have volume for you to close it. And that way you're not completely out 100% and just have to let it expire worthless. As an options buyer on this side, the straddles, we want to go ahead and get inflated amounts. So definitely you can test this with other earnings. Just make sure that the options have really good volume, you guys. Okay. And we talked about yesterday how to make sure that the options have good volumes. We actually hammer on that pretty much every single day. So if you guys are new, just go watch the live from yesterday. Go watch any of my other lives, and just spend a little time learning that. So the way we do this is traditionally it would look like this, where you would buy a contract both on the put and call side, 3.5 if it's in the 50%. So we would go up 50% to 3 + 3 makes 6 on the call side. So there's that. And then we come down 50 minus 3 is 19 on this side. All right. Sorry, I had something in the way of my screen there. Okay. So this would buy you a 519 put, and then 3 days, guys. 3 days gives you a little more wiggle room. So 3 days out, boom, 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 boom. Okay, so yeah, the options are usually about $200 or $300. So that's why you guys are testing this first. You want to have a lot of confidence in this before you guys run this, right? So, and like I said, I've never even seen this economic day before, personal income and outlays. I'm just taking it on this report or this website's indication that this is something that can really move the market. Okay. Personally, I don't know anything about it. So by testing these things, you can even get a log, and certain economic days are going to flag over and over again as big SPY moving days. These are the days that we're going to make the most money. So now, traditionally, this is how you would go into this. However, some brokers like Robinhood, if you go in at the same time simultaneously, they're going to make you close it at the same time simultaneously, and you're not going to be able to manage it the next day like we've been talking about, right? You're going to wait for that beginning of the day movement, and if you see it going one direction, you can keep that option open. We have 2 extra days at that point. That's what the 3 days expiration helps you do. So throughout the day, that one might continue to get better and better and better, and you can get a better exit, right? So um, don't enter them together like this, just enter them separately. So at this point, we would look at this, we would say, okay, 519 put, it's the end of the day. By the way, guys, I love to enter these right at the end of the day, just in case we're getting some sort of crazy movement like this. And that way one contract doesn't get beaten up by it. Ultimately we want to get the overnight movement more than anything, right? What happens if one contract gets beaten up in the last half an hour and then all of a sudden the move goes the other way? Well, now your price is going to be different. Let's talk about getting in right at the very right. So I don't want to just sit here and keep repeating that stuff with you guys. Let's see here. New low of the day for Nvidia. Oh, okay, there you go. So Active Trader just gave us an indication of what's going on with the SPX and why it might be tanking right now. It's on life support, Active. I don't know if you can hear the doot, doot, doot. It just doesn't look good right now. So anyway, guys. So what you would do is just at the end of the day, go ahead and grab your Robinhood app and just add these to your watch list. Practicing these straddles. A buddy of mine watches these all the time, Greg. Oh, okay, yeah, the split. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, a buddy of mine, Greg, that comes in here all the time. I'm not sure if he's here with me today. If not, he'll be watching me later, I'm sure. I know he's got to work all the time. But he was pointing out to me that he went ahead and tested one of these straddles on the Nvidia earnings, and he would have made a lot of money, guys. So having one on each side, yeah, it kind of sucks, especially if it doesn't move that much. You're not going to make that much money. You could end up still losing money. It's not ideal. But if you can warrant those little 10%, 15% losses over time and be there for those big 200%, 300% gainers, I believe over time this can still be a very profitable strategy. So it'll be up to you guys to dial in. Like I said, the earning reports, check and see if the option volume is there. See if maybe that's something that you guys can capitalize on. Earnings reports are great, but each company has its own options chain, so the volume is going to be different on every single one, and there's no guarantee that once it moves up a little bit and your account is showing you that you're negative 40 or 50%, that you're going to be able to close it. You want to be able to have good volume there, guys. So play with those strikes, go up and down. We were talking about that yesterday. Go up and down strikes, to see, okay, if the price moves this much, what does the volume look like at this price? And that'll give you an indication if you're going to be able to close those winners, close those losers. The bid and the ask having an agreed price is I would say the most important thing when it comes to trading options. You want to make sure there's good volume. So that's why we specifically hammer and stick to SPY, because SPY always has good volume, right? So the top 5 companies for SPY, on the their earnings. We like to do this, and then if there's any sort of an economic event the next morning, FOMC is a crazy time to do stuff like this. Just go ahead and test it out, guys. 3 strikes away, 3.5 if you're right in between two of them. It looks like we've come down a little bit, so we can actually pull that down before we enter. Let's see here. Okay, so this will be the 3. We would change the call. We'd come down on the call. But anyway, so we're going to enter this right at the very end of the day. We're just going to test it out. We're going to see how it goes. As you guys see, this is a test account. When it comes to buying options, I'm still in a lot of testing phases. When it comes to selling, I'm ready to put my cash on the table, and I got about a $10,000 lump sum coming in about a month and a half, and just really looking forward to helping or watching that grow or making that grow in front of you guys. It's going to be really fun. You guys will be along for the journey. So I do appreciate you guys checking out the stream. I'm going to be adding an intro and an exit. I'm going to make that. I have a 30-day thing to Canva or whatever, so I'm going to go ahead and play around with that a little bit and get some production quality up in here for you guys. But other than that, guys, I don't really see any reason to take a credit spread today. We are up 2 wins, 0 losses for the first day that we were. Yep, for the first day that we were able to run it. So we ran it yesterday. We got 2 wins. It was a $200 in wins, but we got to pay those fees, guys. You got to pay your fees. So we're going to go ahead and run it for the next 90 days. We're going to double this for you guys. We're going to make 5,000, 10,000 like a magic trick, okay? So have fun with the straddles. Have fun with the swings. Have fun with the shorts. Have fun with the spreads. Everything that we've covered. If you missed anything, go back and check it out. It's live. It's in my live section of my YouTube. Thank you guys for your support. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe, and then you'll get notifications when we are going live. Guys, this SPX is absolutely tanking today. I'm glad that we're not in on a spread anywhere. On either side right now would have just been really hard to get in on. So it would have been nice to be on the call side with a fill, but hey, not every day is going to be great. When I tell you guys you're going to have a 90% complete success rate, when I tell you guys you're going to double your account every 3 months, that's only done one way, and that's by identifying days that you don't want to trade. And if you guys don't know anything about anything that I'm talking about as far as the days that you don't want to trade or anything about selling options, please go watch my masterclass. It's right here in the video section at Tradecaster. It's right there in the video section at YouTube. Watch the masterclass. You guys will be ready to run with me. Take that account. Let's double it over the next 3 months. Let's have some fun. Paper trade until you're comfortable. Other than that, guys, that's about it for me today. Much love, much respect, and we will definitely see you guys next time.
You see us on the floor, you'll be watching all night. We ain't here to hurt nobody. So give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Wanna see you work your body. So give it to me, give it to me, give it to me.
When the boys in the party